Okay, so this particular video is about this area here. What is the t ratio? What is the probability greater than t? This has to do with a hypothesis test to see if the slope is equal to 0 or not. The idea is we're going to run a hypothesis test to see if the slope is not equal to 0. If the slope was 0, that means there's no regression. There's no up or down. It's just going straight. We can't run a regression. So we need to make sure that the slope is not 0. So that's what we're going to be doing over here. The null is that the slope equals 0. B1 equals 0. The alternate is that it does not equal 0. And the test statistic that we're going to be looking at is the slope minus the null. The slope comes from here. Minus the null, we think it's 0, so that's going to be 0. Divided by the standard of the slope. So my t is going to equal, in this case, 0.583 minus 0 over 0.138. What am I saying? I'm saying to get t, which is 4.208, all I'm doing is 0.583 divided by 0.138. This divided by this equals that. If we forget that, in the formula sheet that they give us, which is not it right there, this formula sheet that you guys get on the test, it tells you statistic is your slope, your parameter is what we put in the null, and that's your standard deviation of the slope. So it's going to give you this here if you know how to use this.
And that's how you solve t?
And that's how you get the t, test statistic. So in case you forget, it's up here. In this particular case, so that's your t, this over this is that. Then I find what's the probability I get this t, I get this, if it really was 0, if the slope was 0, and that's your p-value. If you guys remember from the hypothesis test, if this p-value is less than alpha, then we can say there's evidence to support the alternate. Now the alphas we usually use are 0.01, 0.05, and 0.10. So since my p-value equals 0.0004 is less than any of the alphas that we would pick, we can say there is enough evidence to say that there is a slope that's greater than 0, that's not equal to 0. And our best estimate of the slope would be 0.583.